Boom. What's up, guys? Got a fucking sick video. God, I can't help it. I'm sorry. I was trying to do this without cursing. Hopefully, you can accept that and just be part of my audience, even though you might not be one who listens to someone who curses. Anyways, I'm just really excited. Got a really cool video on happiness and motivation, how they're related, how you can understand this and use it to your advantage so that you can enjoy your life and live a life that you want. So that basically starts the prelude to what I'm going to tell you. Like I said, how to be happy and how to live a life that you want to be happy. So, how do you do that? Well, first you have to know what makes you happy, and finding out what makes you happy isn't super easy because you've got so many things in the world telling you what you need to be happy. Every single advertisement you see is trying to sell you on something that they think you, or actually not necessarily, they think something that they want you to buy, and they're going to convince you that you need it in order to improve your life or be happy or live a life you want. So, can be a distraction. Sometimes it might be true. A lot of times it's not. A lot of times you need to find out for yourself what makes you happy, and you do that by reflection. So, here's a couple ways to do that via reflection. So one way mentioned in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, really great book, by the way, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. I'd probably say top 5 books to read without a doubt if you want to like live a high quality life and create a life of high quality. And that takes your understanding and your action, and he kind of explains that stuff pretty well in that book. So like I said, reflection, what he talks about in that book is as far as priorities go, and like first things first, like knowing what is the thing that you value like most in life, of those things. What things in life you value the most. Excuse me. The way you can do that is by going visually in your mind, going to your own funeral in the future. So getting there, just seeing everyone crying, this takes imagination, and just like you want to think about like what you would want people to say about you after you died. So what would you want your best friends? What would you want your family? What would you want your coworkers? What would you want your people at your church / the gym you go to / the buddies you play with on the basketball court, whatever, places that you like to frequent of all aspects of life. What would you want people that know you to say about you? So yeah, that's one way. Another way could just be to like ask yourself certain questions like, who was I meant to be? Just like really ponder on that. You could like really meditate on what that means to you and who you were truly meant to be. Your truest, highest, best self. It's another way to think of it. So yeah, those are ways to find out what your values are. Once you find out what your values are, that's just half the battle. Not even half the battle. Like that could take like maybe like a week, and it'll probably change slightly throughout your life. But for the most part, your values are going to be pretty consistent. Mine have been for over probably over 20 years. I've had major consistent values, whether it be like be physically fit, strong, fast, superior, whatever you want to call it. Like even as a kid, like I wanted to be the fastest, and a lot of times it was, and I wanted to have like close connections with people. So I've always been like, in general, aware of people's feelings, and I really care about others' feelings, and I care to be close to people, and I like genuine connections. Basically, as I'm older, my values have kind of branched off that and become a little more complex, but they're basically that with a little bit more intricacies. So, whatever your values are, whatever life you're meant to be, once you know what it is, you have to put it into action, and then you have to stay on top of it, and that's the hardest part. I'm sure there's people now who live their life. I could think of one of my first girlfriends. Her dad literally worked in a cubicle, come home from work at like 5 p.m. and he would sit on the couch and just go channel surf, just surf through television programs. And I can almost guarantee you, when he was in high school, when he was in college, that was not the life he wanted to live. And I'm sure there was a time where he knew the type of life he wanted to live. Maybe he didn't discover it. So, like, if you just discover it, you'll be a step ahead of him. But I would not be surprised if he knew the type of life he wanted to live, but he just did not live it. And living it is the hard part. And, in order to do that, you have to use some things to your advantage. And that's why I'm titling this video Happiness and Motivation, Motivation and Happiness, because they're so intertwined. Like, once you know what it is to be happy for yourself, motivation is what keeps you on that path to be happy. So I'm going to talk about a couple techniques that helps me for being motivated. I'm pretty motivated right now, if you can tell. Reminders, reminder video or audio recordings is something I do. Basically, I'll talk about, the major priorities that I have in my life. So, like, say, for example, like fitness, like working out really well. Like today I took a fitness test, and I was at free fall school for like a month, and, I was on leave for like 2 months. So all I was really doing was like lifting weights and like just a tiny bit of cardio. And I noticed myself, I got out of shape in relation to other like studs around me. And I don't like being like near the top. I don't like being not near the top. And I didn't feel that way that much today. So effing up, screwing up, deviating far from your values can motivate you to get back on your values, believe it or not. I can think of times in my life when I was most depressed is when I learned the most about myself, and when I was very, very motivated to live my life and my values. So, ironically, that is a way that can help you get on your values. I don't recommend it. If you're depressed right now, hopefully you get depressed enough to like realize like, okay, how am I going to get out of this? Because you hate that depression feeling. You hate the feeling you have in a moment, whatever it is that you're like looking back on your life or looking at a lens on like how you perceive yourself. And if you don't have a positive feeling with it, it's probably because you're not living your values. All right. So audio recording, like I said, I will record what's important to me in my life. So for example, I'll be like, yeah, bro, wake up, blah, blah, blah. I'll like pump myself up with some stuff and be like, this is what you want to do in life. This is what you want to do today. This is what you want to focus on. You want to do this and do some flutter kicks real quick, some relieving cat stretch, for mobility, whatnot. You want to do this. You want to show up to everything 5 minutes early. You want to before you go to sleep, you want to listen to, or watch like a Khan Academy medicine video because I'm getting ready for paramedic. All these things, you just set up little activations, little reminders in your head, just when you start the day to help frame your mind for that day, to help you stay on that path. And it's actually really effective. You can leave reminder post-it notes around you. That helps. Anything to help activate the things in your head to start thinking the way you want to think. And if you're thinking a certain way, that'll help change your actions. So thinking is like the base of all actions. So you really want to be hitting those things really hard, and that'll help you live your life a way you want. So I've got a visual representation of this stuff for you right here. So like I said, this is basically what I just told you, this part written down. So there's motivation and happiness. Reflection is how you discover. The example I gave you was funeral. Visiting it, or just asking yourself, who are you meant to be? As far as knowing what your values are, you first have to discover it, and that's that part. And then you imagine it. For myself, like right now, I'm totally living a life that I value. I'm like surrounded by really high caliber, quality people that I imagined it would be, doing pararescue, pipeline, and whatnot, and training. And I imagined it, and yes, I freaking created this reality. Like I went through the selection course. I created my training ahead of time, and no, it didn't always feel good, but like not in the moment, it might not have felt good because the body doesn't like pain. Body doesn't like waking up early. the body doesn't, you know, your default state of mind does not have your best interests in mind. I might have to pause this and make a part 2. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to.